All right, next up, we're gonna start talking about our different types of species interactions with the pluses and minuses. So a very classic one, I think one that most people have a very good understanding of is predation, where one species is eating another species. This is considered plus minus because one species is getting the benefit from this interaction of getting food, right? They're getting to eat the other one. And the other one obviously is getting a negative from this interaction because they are getting eaten. So that is why this is plus minus. One species benefiting, one species is having a cost. Predators and prey can often influence each other's behavior. So prey species will hide more often, or schools of fish, for example, will bunch closer together if a predator is present, so they can influence each other's behavior and abundance and evolution. Uh, and predation is not only like lions eating zebras, it also includes herbivory, so eating of plant species or algae species, and parasitism is basically a special form of predation. Now, predator and prey can end up with some really cool adaptations as they're kind of often undergoing like evolutionary arms races or developing adaptations to be better predators or better prey organisms. So, first, some predator adaptations. Often they will develop stronger senses, so things like a strong sense of smell or electroreception. In the case of elasmobranch species, like sharks and rays, have the ability to sense electricity. Some species develop venom, like our sea snakes are venomous, so they're able to use venom to like immobilize their prey and make it easier to capture or eat. Big teeth for capturing prey and killing it and manipulating it. Camouflage to blend in the background and be like an ambush predator. So an example here is like a woebegone shark. So it might be hard to see, but this right here is a shark. It has this fringe that's supposed to like look like algae around its mouth, and it really blends in with the bottom, so we can sit and wait. And then when the fish comes close, we can go like and grab them. Here it's actually eating another shark. Speed and endurance, so going faster in order to catch more fish or more other prey items. And lures, like this anglerfish right here, has a little lure on the top of its head to try to draw prey species to it so that it can eat them. Some prey adaptations that we see, poison. So venom is where you bite something and kill it. Poison is where something bites you and it dies. So something like a blowfish having tetrodotoxin, where if you eat pufferfish that has not been correctly cooked, it can actually kill you very nastily. So poisonous animals are ones you can't eat because they are it'll be harmful to you, or plants or algae. Speed and endurance to get away from predators. Shells, so thick shells on things like mussels, clams, etc., that help protect their soft bodies on the inside. Spines, my favorite example of this is a porcelain crab larva. So that's this guy right here. You can see he has this giant spike on his head that makes him a lot harder to eat. Of course, any predator that wants to eat him has to get their mouth around that spike. Burrowing or hiding, like these flatfish here, are hiding in the sand. But many animals also burrow. Immunity to venom. So this is kind of the evolutionary arms race, which you may have figured out in the previous question. And grouping behavior, things like schools of fish. We also have a few different types of coloration that can show up. I already talked about camouflage, which is the ability to blend into the environment. So octopi are particularly adept at this. They can change the color and texture of their bodies to blend into the environment. But another type of coloration that's really cool that we see in ecology is what's called aposematic coloration. This is where instead of blending in, you're actually doing the opposite. You have bright, bright colors that serve as a warning to predators that you are poisonous and or venomous and taste bad. So you're like, do not eat me because I will taste bad. And so it's basically so that predators learn to avoid that species. They don't eat that species. So we have like a flatworm here. We have like a poison dart frog. We also have a lionfish that has venomous spines. So all these guys are saying, do not eat me. I am brightly colored to let you know I am poisonous and you will not enjoy eating me. Now, my favorite example, or the one that I came up with when I was thinking about this, of a really cool predator species is a cone snail. So cone snails are a type of snail, so they're a mollusk, and are the family Conidae. While they are a snail, they actually have a little harpoon gun inside them. So they have a harpoon that they shoot out. It's got a very strong venom on this little harpoon that paralyzes its prey, makes it easier to eat. So right here you can see this cone snail that is harpooning this fish and then consuming it. So these guys have pretty strong venom. They have a venom that's strong enough it can kill a human in under 5 minutes, some of them. So if you go to certain countries, they will say, like, you see a pretty shell on the beach, do not pick it up because it might be a cone snail. The good news is it's not a very painful death because it's actually anesthetizing. So you kind of just, many people sometimes don't even realize they've been harpooned because it's basically instantly numbing. But yeah, cone snails, very, very cool predator species in the ocean, or family, rather. Next, we're going to talk about parasitism. Again, this is kind of a special form of predation, so it's still plus minus. One species is getting the benefit of food, usually, not always, and the other species is getting the cost of being partially eaten or consumed or some other kind of detriment. So a lot of these we think of as things like, fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, worms that like animals can get in their guts. These are all things where they're partially consuming the other organism. So again, they're getting the benefit of food. The other organism's getting the detriment of not uh, having part of their body eaten. But it's different. It's a little different than predation because parasites usually don't kill their host. The difference are parasitoids, which kind of over time indirectly kill their hosts. But it's not the same as like a lion running down a zebra and eating it. For example, parasitoid fungus, which infects insects and then fruits out of their bodies. So that's parasitism, where again, instead of it being like a lion killing a zebra, one organism is getting like partially consumed often, and the other one's getting the benefit of food from that. So a really cool example of a parasite is the Saculina barnacle. So this is in the genus Saculina, and it has a really weird effect on crabs. So crabs usually, when they are ready to have babies, the female will have this big mass of eggs that she carries under. This is called the telson right here. So females in general have a wider telson that they kind of hold around their eggs, and they kind of protect the egg mass. And when it's time for the egg mass to hatch, they kind of go up in a little area and kind of shake it around to help disperse the babies out of the eggs. But there is a type of barnacle. It doesn't really look like a barnacle, but it is that takes the same place on a crab's body. So it's still kind of underneath the telson. And what's crazy is it'll kind of put its little tendrils into the crab and affect the crab's hormones to make them act as if this barnacle is an egg mass. So, and what's even crazier is it does this for both female and male crabs. So female crabs will treat it like an egg mass, but male crabs will also treat it as if it is an egg mass. And in fact, they'll take on a bunch of other traits that are more like female crab traits. They'll even do like little mating dances like females do, because the parasitic barnacle is basically changing their hormones. So it's this crazy little barnacle. So the barnacle gets a benefit of like a place to live, and it's like being protected by the crab. Whereas the crab gets a detriment because it obviously has like a giant thing growing on it. Also, it tends to sterilize the crabs, making them infertile. So it doesn't kill the crabs, but it does sterilize them so they can't reproduce. Um, and they also tend to like not be able to, they tend to like lose weight and like have these other like detriments to them as well. So kind of a crazy parasite that lives in the ocean for these poor crabs. Next up is mutualism. Mutualism is plus plus. So both species are benefiting. There's a benefit to both species. An example here is like a cleaner fish with a larger fish. So cleaner wrasses are a family of fish where a larger fish will come up to them and it'll actually eat like scraps of food or parasites off of the other fish. And the other fish gets the benefit. So the wrasse gets the benefit of food, right? It gets to eat the parasites and the little scraps of food and things like that, dead old scales, things like that. And the other fish gets the benefit of having parasites removed off of it and other little like bits that it doesn't want clinging to it. Another one is like a clownfish and an anemone. So the clownfish gets the benefit of a place to live where it's relatively protected, and the anemone actually gets some nutrients from the clownfish, like poop and urine, basically. So again, they're both getting a benefit. Now, some examples like these two are what's called facultative, meaning they are optional. So, for example, the cleaner wrasse can get food from other places, and the big fish won't necessarily die if it doesn't get predators taken off of it. So it's nice to have, but they're not going to die if they don't get it. But there are also mutualisms that are obligate, aka mandatory, as in they will die if they aren't able to like have their mutualistic relationship. An example here are corals and zooxanthellae. So most reef-building corals have these little single-celled dinoflagellates called zooxanthellae that live inside their bodies. That's this kind of green stuff right here. And the zooxanthellae have the benefit of a place to live inside the coral, but they are providing the coral with a lot of its food supply. So they're basically creating sugars for the coral. And a coral that lose its zooxanthellae or don't have zooxanthellae will die eventually. Not immediately, but over time, they like need that food source. And the zooxanthellae apparently cannot live outside of the coral. So both of them will die if they don't have the other. So that is an obligate mutualism. One of my favorite examples here are pistol shrimps and gobies. So first off, pistol shrimps are really cool. They're a little type of shrimp, and when they are able to snap their claws in such a way that the reason they're called pistol shrimps, they can snap their claws in such a way that it makes this incredibly loud noise, like it's as loud as a pistol going off. You can often hear this if you're in underwater in certain areas where they exist, where it'll sound like this little snapping sound from far away. Now, they tend to live in burrows with a roommate. So pistol shrimps and gobies, they're roommates because the shrimp is able to dig this burrow. So they're pretty good at digging. They can dig out a burrow. Fish, not particularly good at digging a burrow. But the shrimps don't have great eyesight and also can't like dig and look out for predators at the same time. So basically, they're digging and maintaining the burrow, and the goby has pretty good eyesight. And so it is keeping watch. So it has its head up, it's looking around to make sure there's no predators coming. And what's cool is that the pistol shrimp usually, as it's like digging and doing its stuff, it'll keep one or two of its antenna like on the goby. So you can kind of see that here, where it's kind of doing its thing over here, but its two antennae are going backwards and like touching the goby because basically, if the goby sees a predator, like flick its tail, and then the shrimp knows like, oh, quick, go back into the burrow so the predator can't eat it. Yeah, so this is a mutualism where the goby gets a place to live and the shrimp gets a lookout to look for predators. So I think it's pretty cute little relationship. And this is across multiple species too. So different species of pistol shrimp and different species of gobies. But in both families, they often have this mutualism together. Next up question for you guys is that mutualism I just described with the pistol shrimp and the goby, do you think that is a facultative mutualism or an obligate mutualism? And explain your answer.